Have you ever felt like you've hit rock bottom? That moment when everything seems to be falling apart, and the path forward is just a blur. It's a lonely, dark place to be. We've all been there, or known someone who has. It feels like the end of the story. But what if it's not? What if that very moment, the lowest point, is actually the beginning of something incredible? There's a powerful quote from Robert Downey Jr., a man who knows a thing or two about spectacular falls and even more spectacular comebacks. He said, "There was a time I was written off rock bottom, broken. But rock bottom became my foundation. You can rebuild from anything if you decide you're done being your worst enemy." Let that sink in for a moment. Rock bottom became his foundation. It's a complete shift in perspective, isn't it? Instead of seeing the bottom as a pit to be stuck in, he saw it as solid ground, a place to start building from. It's not about the fall. It's about what you do after you land. This idea is transformative. It takes the power away from the circumstances that brought you down and puts it right back into your hands. The key, as Downey Jr. points out, is a decision. The decision to stop being your own worst enemy. Think about that. How often are we our own harshest critics? How often do our own thoughts hold us back more than any external obstacle? We replay our mistakes. We tell ourselves we're not good enough. We convince ourselves that we're stuck. We become the very chains that bind us to our rock bottom. But what happens when we decide to stop? What happens when we choose to become our own ally instead of our enemy? Suddenly, that solid ground beneath you doesn't feel like a prison anymore. It feels like a launch pad. This isn't just a feel-good phrase. It's a practical strategy for life. When you're at the bottom, there's a strange kind of clarity. The illusions are gone. The false friends have disappeared. The distractions have faded away. All that's left is you and the truth. And from that raw, honest place, you can start to build something real, something strong, something that is authentically yours. The process of rebuilding isn't instantaneous. It's a brick-by-brick journey. The first brick is forgiveness, forgiving yourself for the mistakes that led you here. The next brick is acceptance, accepting where you are without judgment. Then comes the brick of small actions. Maybe it's making your bed in the morning. Maybe it's going for a walk. Maybe it's reaching out to one person for help. Each small, positive action is another brick laid on your new foundation. These actions might seem insignificant on their own, but together, they create momentum. They prove to you, day by day, that you are no longer defined by your fall. You are being defined by your climb. Your past doesn't have to be a life sentence. It can be a lesson. Your broken pieces don't need to be hidden away in shame. They can be rearranged into a beautiful mosaic, one that tells a story of resilience and strength. Think of the Japanese art of kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold. The cracks aren't hidden. They're highlighted, making the piece even more beautiful and valuable than it was before. Your scars, your cracks, are proof that you have lived, you have struggled, and you have survived. They are a part of your strength. The decision to stop being your worst enemy is a daily one. It's a conscious choice you make every morning. When that inner critic starts whispering doubts, you choose to answer it with a voice of encouragement. When you feel the pull of old, destructive habits, you choose to take one small step in a new, healthier direction. You have to want the change more than you want to stay in your comfort zone of misery. It's about taking ownership of your story. You are the author. The previous chapters might have been filled with struggle and pain, but you hold the pen now. You get to decide what the next chapter looks like. Will it be a repeat of the past, or will it be the beginning of your comeback story? The world is full of stories just like this. People who were written off, who lost everything, who felt utterly broken, and yet they rebuilt. They found their foundation at rock bottom and constructed lives of purpose, meaning, and success. They did it not because they were special or lucky, but because they made a decision. They decided they were done being their own worst enemy. They decided they were worth fighting for, and you are worth fighting for, too. Whatever you're facing right now, however deep the hole you feel you're in, remember, rock bottom is not a destination. It is a foundation. It is the solid ground upon which you can build a life that is stronger, wiser, and more beautiful than you ever imagined. So, Make that decision today. Decide that you are done being your own worst enemy. Decide that you will be your own greatest champion. Start laying the first brick, and then the next. And watch as your new life begins to take shape, built not in spite of your struggles, but because of the strength you found in overcoming them. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this message resonated with you, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel for more content on building a stronger, more resilient you. Share this with someone who might need to hear it today. Remember, you have the power to rebuild. Start now.